Cricket presents The Campfire, and today we are heading to 6A, the state's largest classification, to talk about 3-6A. The teams in this district include Crowley, Boswell, Mansfield, Lake Ridge, Legacy, North Crowley, and Weatherford. Let's analyze this district in our film session. Can't start to discuss 3-6A without talking about the reigning district champs at North Crowley. The Panthers had an undefeated regular season a year ago and finished 14-1 before falling to the eventual state champions of Duncanville in the state semis. North Crowley marched through the regular season with ease, but are challenging themselves this year with Lancaster, DeSoto, and Rockwall on their non-district docket. They returned district MVP Chris Jemerson at quarterback, along with athlete Cornelius Warren and Henry Finoku on the O-line. Not to mention a stellar defensive unit highlighted by linebacker Jonathan Cunningham and defensive back transfer from Georgia, Drayden Fulbright. Boswell and Crowley were playoff teams in 2023. The Pioneers bring back first-team wide receiver Kerry L. Robertson, while Crowley will look for another 2,800-yard passing year from Caleb Williams. Mansfield ISD moves into this district as Lake Ridge, Legacy, and Mansfield High move from 11-6A to 3-6A. The Tigers of Mansfield should thrive behind Braxton Van Cleve at quarterback and Jacoby Hayes and Tim Abraham at wide receiver. Lewis Wilkerson will make a name for himself at wideout for Legacy, while linebacker Jaden Jones will shine for Lake Ridge. Getting out of the District of Doom and into this more favorable district puts all these Mansfield teams in play for the postseason. The Kangaroos of Weatherford were right on the brink of the playoffs last year and should push for a spot this fall.
The Campfire is presented by Cricket. Smile, you're on Cricket.
We love easy. 4. Yeah.
Give your taste buds that winning feeling with the new boneless Whataburger from Whataburger. Crispy, tender bites of chicken tossed in your choice of sauce.
The Campfire is brought to you by your Texas Kubota dealers, home of the #1 selling subcompact tractor in Texas. Kubota, together we do more.
For an even deeper look at 3-6A, here's producer Ward Fasold and insider Matt Diggs with the district breakdown.
All right, there's Diggsy. I'm the Wizard. We're talking 3-6A, our first 6A district in the district breakdown. Diggsy, you look at this district, 7 teams, right? But not that North Crowley didn't take it serious the last couple of years, but I think they saw the competition they had in the playoffs. They really pushed up their non-district with Lancaster, DeSoto, and Rockwall on there. Stacked team. They're going to have to play tough teams because they have quality teams, but maybe not as tough as you'll see in the playoffs. Talk to me about the North Crowley team and then also the rest of this district.
North Crowley is one of the most, from a rankings perspective, an infuriating team because we don't know what we have with them. Last year, they beat everybody they were supposed to beat convincingly, and then they got in the playoffs and they started to look good. Okay, is this going to be a team that can be competitive with Duncanville? Is this a team that is a state championship threat? And then when they played Allen, that game was a lot closer than a lot of people thought, and then Duncanville just completely obliterated them. So Coach Gates, I applaud his non-district scheduling right now because we're going to get a chance to see what they're starting to understand, that if they're going to be in the same breath as Duncanville, DeSoto, and South Lake Carroll, they're going to have to schedule this way. And when you got Chris Jemerson coming back, there is a lot to be excited about. This guy can make every throw. He's a leader on the field. And when you've got him as your North Star of that team, I think you have a lot of good, positive things coming out.
All right, give me 1 through 7, and then we'll move on.
We've got North Crowley at number 1. I've got Crowley at number 2. Those Mansfield Tigers at number 3. The Kangaroos, we're going to do a kangaroo kick and kick them into the playoffs at number 4. I've got Mansfield Lake Ridge at tough luck number 5. Mansfield Legacy number 6. And can you believe it, Ward? Boswell, a team that is a perpetual playoff team. I am putting them last place in this district at number 7.
We'll post the entire breakdown segment this Wednesday on our social media pages. Now let's take a look at some game changers and our players on the rise, brought to you by Parker University. There are quite a few talented quarterbacks in this district behind Chris Jemerson of North Crowley. Jemerson had a terrific sophomore season, but really stood out as a junior in 2023. He threw 40 touchdown passes to just 3 picks. Add to that almost 3,100 yards passing and 1,100 yards rushing, and you have yourself a district MVP. Jemerson recently decommitted from TCU, so his recruitment is wide open. Caleb Williams is another dynamic signal caller in this district for Crowley. He threw for 2,800 yards and 34 touchdowns with a completion percentage of 68%. Williams is excellent at extending a play, and he can use his legs to gain big yardage too. Caleb ran for 770 yards and 7 touchdowns a year ago. Behind Williams, Crowley made the postseason, and they are hoping he'll lead them there again in 2024. Despite being a Kentucky baseball commit, Braxton Van Cleve is also a strong-arm quarterback for the Mansfield Tigers. In one of the state's toughest districts, Van Cleve still managed to be selected as second-team All-District quarterback in 11-6A. He threw for 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns. Mansfield should be in playoff contention all season this fall, and look for Braxton to be a main reason why. One of the best defensive players in this district is North Crowley linebacker Jonathan Cunningham. He's like a heat-seeking missile on defense as he locks in on the ball carrier, and nothing will stop him from bringing that man to the turf. Cunningham was a unanimous first-team All-District selection a year ago. Jonathan has offers from Kansas, Utah, and Arizona, among others. Players on the Rise is brought to you by Parker University. Do you or your student want a career training the world's best athletes? Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today.
I was spending too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. 4. Yeah. Smile, you're on cricket.
The Campfire is brought to you by Golden Chick. One taste and you're golden. Our Ward Fasol cut up to a head coach in this district to talk about his team in our Media Day segment.
Media Day, we are talking to our first 6A district of the summer, and that's 3-6A, and I got Boswell head coach Wes Weaver with me. Coach, let's quickly talk about the district as a whole, because yeah, everybody might be excited that Trinity's out of it, but now you got some teams that you haven't really seen in a while, like the Mansfield ISD district. That's a district I haven't seen Boswell with in a while. Talk about that, and North Crowley. You know, they're going to be North Crowley. So where do you think the Pioneers are kind of fall in that district? How excited are you about the new challenges? And maybe talk a little bit about these Mansfield ISD teams.
Very excited. North Crowley is going to be tough. They do a great job over there with Coach Gates. Losing Trinity and Bell out of our district was a little bit of a shock, honestly. We kind of thought we'd stick together with them. We knew that the possibility of Pascal and Chisholm going down to 5A was there, and that we might get a couple of new teams added into what was still existing in our old 3-6A. But it was a pretty big shakeup, and getting the Mansfield schools. I'm looking forward to it. It's different people than we've typically played. We haven't played Mansfield High, I think, in over 20 years. The last 2 years we've played Mansfield Lake Ridge in non-district. And played Coach Thor's groups, and they're a great offensive team. They have a lot of great athletes on defense. They've been a tough game for us getting ready for district play the last 2 years. So I was glad we kind of lucked into scheduling them the last 2 years, so we kind of get a feel for what Mansfield ISD is going to bring. And we've never played Mansfield Legacy, so they're going to be somebody brand new that Boswell has never faced before, and so that'll be cool for our kids to kind of get to go against some teams that we typically don't get to go against, and it'll be refreshing in that way.
I appreciate you joining with me, Coach, and good luck this fall.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
You can catch the entire interview Friday on our social media channels. That's going to do it for this week's Campfire. Next week, we take a look at 4-6A. Until then, have a great week, everybody.